This is the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. Ever wish you could re-listen to your favorite interview or segment? Do you enjoy hearing older shows for the first time in years? Then the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less is just what you need. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Welcome one and all to this edition of the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. I'm your host, John Solberg, and today's edition is being brought to you by The Butcher Shop. The Butcher Shop is home of the A9 Master Kobe briskets, where they are always hand-picked. This father and son team has operated this retail meat market in Pensacola, Florida for the past 15 years. Kevin and Jordan ship nationwide to the biggest names in barbecue. The A9 brisket won both sides of the American Royal. That happened in 2019. They also ship some of the finest prime, dry-aged Australian Wagyu and Japanese Wagyu steaks to people just like you and me who aspire to be the kings of their backyard. The Butcher Shop always has Berkshire, Compart Duroc, Allegiance Duroc, and Prairie Fresh all-natural pork in stock, and again, always handpicked for you. Are you into trying out any wild game items? How about bison, venison, elk, ostrich? They even have Campbell. Have you been searching for those 10 to 12 pound big boneless turkey breasts featured on How to Barbecue Right? The Butcher Shop has them in stock and they are ready to ship to you today. So whether you're looking for the best competition, briskets, ribs, or pork butts, or you just want to have a better option to cook in the backyard, give the Butcher Shop a call today. 850-458-8782. That's 850-458-8782. Or get a hold of them over on Facebook. Facebook.com/The Butcher Shop. Shop spelled SHOPPE. Make sure you mention the Barbecue Central show and you will save 10% off your entire order. And here's what's going on in today's show from July the 10th, 2012. Greg's going to catch up with Dave Bosca, and Dave Bosca is going to tell you how to win a barbecue competition. Let's do it.
Helping me close out the show tonight, one of my favorite guests because of his vast knowledge of meat. And yes, he is one of the best pitmasters on the competition circuit as well, so we'll go ahead and race over the hotline. Welcome back in pitmaster of Butcher Barbecue, Dave Bosca, joining me here on the show. Dave, how are you, buddy?
We're doing good, Greg. First off, happy birthday.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate you. And the 18 cases of sauce was absolutely spectacular. I had no idea it was coming. I appreciate it so much. You have no idea. Okay, it really wasn't 18 cases of sauce. People are going crazy right now, of course. Very jealous. Dave, let's start with what's going on over the last couple weeks, competition-wise. 2 weeks ago, it was Reserve in Artesia. I believe it's Artesia, New Mexico, and then a grand this past weekend in Rio Rancho. You know, not a bad 2-week stint for you and the team. Are you kind of in the midst of hitting a good stride right now?
Well, yeah, I'd say we're hitting our stride, or a stride. I had one cook tell me that doesn't seem that I get to cook until it gets hot outside, so I was teasing with him and told him, heck, I'll take a space heater and I'll turn it on if that's what it takes.
Well, this past weekend seemed to be an exceptionally good cook, nothing lower than a 7th place. You won chicken and brisket outright, and there were a lot of great teams there to boot. Do you think does it really, and I hear it all the time from pitmasters, I don't know if they're just trying to be modest or not, but do you really think it comes down to the tables at that point when you have such an array of talent around you? Or could I possibly make an argument that Butcher's Barbecue was really the best barbecue that day? Because points-wise, you really put the wood to the rest of the team, I guess, no pun intended, 18-point spread almost between you and Mike Davis, who was reserve.
I'm not going to go as far as saying it was the best of that day. Any good cook can win at any given time. But I will say I think the real trick to cooking competition barbecue and being successful at it is finding a process, a recipe, and a way of cooking it that is repeatable from week in, week out, week in, week out. And I really feel that my complete process from aging the meat, trimming it, prepping it, cooking it, all that goes into play, and that's what makes it real consistent every single week.
So maybe this is in the back of my mind what basically stops me from wanting to at least give it a try. You invest this money, you're going to go out. I know I'm going to get my ass handed to me right off the bat, probably the first many number of times. So for me to sit there and say, well, there's not going to be any return on that, it's fun, it's great, I'm seeing a lot of great people, I know all of that, but I'm a competitor at heart, and I want to win and kill everybody in the process. How are you able to gauge, as you're building all of this stuff that you were talking about, how are you able to gauge how it's working and when you need to start making adjustments, if it's not, to better your position?
If you hit your points. When you're finished cooking, you're finished slicing, dicing, chopping, whatever, and you're put it in that box, if it is really as good as it can get. If it's not, don't expect the judges to give you the best score possible if you didn't think it was. I know what I want my food to be whenever I turn it in. And I am brutally honest with myself. And I will say that chicken is it. That's money. Or I will say, no, that I didn't like it as much this time. Or same thing with all my different food. When the turn-ins are done, if you're in the hunt. Now, that's all you can control. That's all you can do. You can't do nothing more than that. You then hope, and then I look at the contests I go to and the reps from KCBS that are running them. You get to know how they run the tent, how they run the judges. And that plays in it also. How do they distribute the master CVJs and the first-time judges? How do they instruct them to judge? All that makes a difference on your product. But if you don't hit your point, I think you're fooling yourself thinking that you got great food if the points weren't hit. And you just keep saying, yeah, that was the best there was. And you're not honest with yourself and saying, dude, that brisket was kind of flat. I know that. I should expect first. That should be a 10 through 20th type brisket. You gotta be honest with yourself first.
Dave Bosca joining me here on the show, pitmaster of Butcher BBQ, of course, the website butcherbbq.com. Dave, you've been to a lot of competitions over the years. You have a process that's working for you right now. And, I wonder, as you show up to a competition, maybe you're looking at the list to see who's coming in, maybe you're not, whatever the case may be. Are there teams that give you a little bit of intimidation when they show up in an event, or are you just well past that at this point and it doesn't matter who shows up?
I'm scared of every one of the damn guys. Let's be real. I've been beat by what most folks would call a backyarder. I've been beat by the pros. And intimidated? No, I ain't intimidated because I truly believe in my heart that they know better than we are, and we ain't no better than they are. It's just who can hit their final points, and anybody can do that. It just takes a good, pardon the pun of the word, but a pit master. And this last weekend where we were sitting in New Mexico, I was watching some of the top guys, and they were struggling with their pits due to the wind and the altitude, and mine was just purring right along. So I felt like we had a better pit mastering. So I was hoping I had the edge.
Dave Bosca certainly brings a lot to the barbecue world. His products, his meat knowledge, his competition cooking knowledge, even though that information is 8 years old, still going to help you win a contest today. One thing that will help you fast forward in 2020 is get yourself a Master A9 Kobe brisket from The Butcher Shop. Head over to The Butcher Shop on Facebook, facebook.com/The Butcher Shop, shop spelled SHOPPE. Get a hold of them, get yourself a hand-picked Master Kobe brisket, mention the Barbecue Central Show, and save 10% off your entire order. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less, I'm your host, John Solberg. I look forward to talking to you again soon.